Alright guys, welcome back to another episode here on Grow the Earth. Today we're going to find out what happened to our jalapeno plant here. Sometimes you do everything you can to grow a plant well, but you have things that are outside of your control that come in and happen. Originally, whenever it first started to kind of wilt and kind of, have an issue, we thought it was a water issue. But as you can see, the Havasu pepper and this Thai chili are just fine. So it definitely wasn't a water issue, and eventually it became to be in the state that you see right here. It still has a little bit of green on it, but there is definitely something wrong. Now, I have a suspicion as to what happened, but we're actually going to have to pull the plant out to figure out if that's what it is. Now, it could have been a pest, but we looked over this plant very, very well, and we didn't see any pests that were really attacking it. At least nothing that was being detrimental to the plant. Because invariably you're going to have some pests that are going to attack the plant, but this didn't have any pests on it that I was, really concerned about the plant having any health issues. And it could be a disease, but of course they're a hot pepper, which is a Havasu, and a Thai chili, which are very close relatives to the jalapeno, but the jalapeno is the only one that succumbed to it. But what I have a sneaky suspicion that actually attacked this plant is a nematode. Now, these are small, almost microscopic worms that actually live in the dirt, and they typically affect your peppers and your tomatoes, but there are other varieties, other plants that the nematodes won't bother. All right, guys. So we're going to, we had our little. So guys, we got our tomato planters here, and they don't work real good for planting tomatoes, but they work wonderful for peppers. So just a little quick tip for that. And now we're going to pull this guy up from the root. Now, what we're looking for, with it being nematodes, is going to be little nodules on these roots. All right, guys, well, we've pulled this plant out, and my hunch was wrong. There was no nematodes on here. Now, what you would see if you have nematodes is you would actually see growths on the roots. They would almost look kind of like a small peanut, basically, growing on the root itself. Now, we have had this issue before with tomatoes. I believe in the other bed over there we had issues with tomatoes with getting nematodes on them. And the easy way to fix that is just to plant something else there that is not susceptible to nematodes. It's very simple. And eventually, if they don't have anything to feed on and reproduce, they pretty much die. But this plant did not succumb to nematodes. I have a sneaky suspicion that it was root rot. Because as we can see right down here, and actually I'm going to bring you guys in a little bit closer, you're going to get a better look at this root here. So looking at these roots, as you can see, there's not any bulges on these roots at all. But what I do see is a lack of root. When I pulled this out of the ground, this is exactly what came up. And I pulled this out from the surrounding area, but really any of the roots that were going down are gone. And we can also see a little bit of a fungus here. So we had a fungus attack the roots on this plant, which killed it. Now, concerns. I'm not really concerned because we have other plants that are pretty much in the same family right next to it that are not being affected by it at all. It may just be localized to a small spot right here. And again, just like nematodes, it just means that we need to plant something here that is not in the same family of peppers. We could do herbs here, we could do melons, some other form of vegetable here that's not going to be affected by anything that's going to affect these plants. Unfortunately, we lost our jalapeno, but we do have Thai chilies, which, as we can see here, this has been just a monster producer. This has definitely been what I call a family and friend plant. This is something that you've got to have family and friends to share with because it's just too much. And the havasu has done very well. And actually, we really like this plant. This is something that we're going to continue to plant because it does well, and the actual peppers are very tolerable. They're not just entirely too hot to eat. So guys, let this be a lesson. Even the best gardeners in the world or your first-time gardeners, plants sometimes just die. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing that you could have done. They just die. So, if you have a plant die, whether you've been gardening for 10 years or, this is your first time planting a garden, don't be discouraged. You will have plants die. And it's not anything to be worried about. You're going to recover from it. When God takes something like this, He gives other things. So there's nothing to be worried about. So guys, I ask you to pray over your family, pray over your garden, and have a great day.